Whenever you're ready for Sandy to start, just let us know. And you are muted.
Yep, just give me a moment.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we are ready.
Okay, welcome to the March 12th, 2025 full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 6. My name is Sandy McKee and I'm the chair of CB6. This meeting is called to order at 7:02 p.m. And tonight we are joined by Assistant Secretary Jerry Weinstein, District Manager Jesus Perez, and Assistant District Manager Brendan Berth is joining us remotely. It's feeling better, but it was a week of not feeling well. We observe the following ground rules. New York state law requires.
On privilege, you can't hear the variable back here. Can you guys hear?
I'm going to have to yell then because we don't have any microphones.
They are not working.
So I know it's tempting to sit at the back of the room. But maybe you want to come on. There are lots of empty seats in the front.
Come to
the light, Jim.
Or talk to the representatives of your city council members who are here and ask them why community boards don't have their own appropriate spaces in which they can hold members of the public.
Oh, Jesus, wow.
I'm sorry.
It's only once a month.
In a few years,
And Jim, we can plug your phone in here.
Oh, you can?
Anyway, okay, I'll try and, be clear. New York state law requires all community board members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. No one may speak until granted the floor. Please raise your hand and wait for me to recognize you. It is important that only one person speaks at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said. Members of the public, if you wish to give remarks during the public session and you have not already registered by filling out a form, you may register to speak on Zoom by using the Q&A feature and posting your name, your affiliation, and the specific topic you wish to speak about. If you are here in person to speak in the public session, you need to fill out our public speaker form, which is near the sign-ins for the CB6 newsletter. And this process needs to be done by 7:15. The agenda, excuse me, for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office, was posted online, and appears on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Our Assistant Secretary, Jerry Weinstein, will take attendance by roll call.
Do so closer to the mic and coordinate. Majed Abdul-Zaman. Majed Abdul-Zaman.
Not yet.
We'll move on.
Tanya Arias.
Present.
Thank you.
Kyle Athai.
Present.
Thank you.
Neil Barclay.
Thank you.
Martin Barrett, who's listed as absent.
Thank you.
Elvie Rosso.
Thank you.
Jim Collins.
Yep.
Thank you.
Stuart Desser.
Thank you.
B. Dismond.
Present.
Thank you.
Maya Donahue.
Thank you.
Robert Farfan.
Present.
Thank you.
Rob Friedman.
Present.
Thank you.
Jason Fromowitz. He's absent.
Thank you.
Eric Goldberg.
Thank you.
Justin Goldberg is absent.
Thank you.
Gloria Cade.
Thank you.
Javier Iqbal.
No, I don't think she's coming this evening.
Thank you.
Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rupel.
Here.
Thank
John
you.
Keller. Present.
Thank you.
Nadine Kalani.
Nad Kalani. I don't hear anything.
Katie Landa.
Present.
Thank you.
Sandra left off.
I'm not sure I hear anything.
If we have just visual. Sandra left off.
No, I don't hear anything, so we'll move on.
David Levy.
He's not able to attend this one.
David Lowenstein. Anton Mullen. Present. Sandra McKee.
Present.
Thank you.
Alec Militant.
Absent.
Richard Mintz.
Thank you.
Kevin O'Keefe.
Present. I'm here.
Thank
Reshma
you.
Patel. We have extraordinary circumstances. Reshma.
I don't hear anything.
Stephen Perez.
Thank you.
Miriam Rao. Hi.
Thank you.
Michael Enroe, favoritism. Absent.
All right. Thank you.
Lawrence Schweier. Present.
Thank you.
Anne Sullivan.
Thank you.
Sandra Sherrod.
Thank you.
Livia is absent.
Thank you.
Mubin Siddiqui.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lady Simon.
Here.
Thank you.
Susan Steinberg.
Thank you.
Mark Thompson.
Here, I miss you guys.
Thank you.
Jake Turzo.
Thank you.
James Vera.
Thank you.
Myself. Present.
Thank you.
Sarah Whittington.
Absent.
Yes.
Okay.
Queen.
With 30 members of 46 duly present, we do have quorum.
Great. And our elected officials sent in their reports ahead of time and they are compiled on the CB6 website. The link to the reports was sent out ahead of time as well, and for your convenience can be found in the chat on Zoom or by going to our website's page for full board meetings. I will now call on the elected officials who have RSVP'd so they can take questions from CB6 members and the public about their pre-submitted reports. Each elected official will be able to field questions. If there are no questions, we will move on to the next elected official on our list. And if the elected official has a time-sensitive matter to report on that didn't make it into their pre-submitted report, they will have 3 minutes to do so. And during this part of the meeting, we will also hear from other government agency representatives who are requested to address the board. And just, yes, we have no microphones, so come on up, please, when it's your turn. Senator Gonzalez, is she with us? Yeah,
She won't be joining us, but her wonderful staffer Peyton will be.
Peyton.
Happy to take questions.
I can answer.
Yes,
Did you find out about those lights?
working on it, still working on it, but.
Okay, thank you.
Happy-
State DOT has some lights that are out, so we're trying to get them. Thank you. Sorry, this low blow.
Thank you.
Justin Flagg from Senator Kruger's office.
Good evening. I'll just add to our report because it just happened yesterday. Both houses of the legislature released their one-house budget resolutions, which they'll vote on probably tomorrow. These are the responses from each house of the legislature to the governor's executive budget proposal, and it kicks off the negotiation period. There's sort of our opening position in the negotiations for the final budget, which is due on April 1st. So you can read fairly detailed description of what's in it on our website, kruger.nysenate.gov or lizkruger.com. There are links to the actual resolution, and the resolution itself is an in-depth description of the legislation, which is also available on the website. So depending on what level of weeds you want to get into, you have some options. And if you have actual, specific questions on is something or in the one house or not, you can ask here. I might not know the answer because there's a lot, or you can email me or call me, and I'm happy to look it up for you.
Larry has a question for you.
Sure.
Concerns the MTA capital plan for 2025 to 2029. Is there going to be sufficient money in the way of new revenue streams to cover the gap that this $65 billion matter?
Yeah, so I believe this is true for the Assembly, though I can't speak to that. The Senate has committed in our one house to funding the plan and accepted the governor's earmark of $3 billion to fill the gap. But the actual determination of where that revenue is going to come from is going to be part of the negotiations from now until when the budget comes out.
I believe Tanya had her hand up next.
Yeah, hi, and thank you I always enjoy reading her reports. It is very disconcerting, the situation with Medicaid that we're probably going to be facing, and she mentions a $50 billion deficit if that would come to pass. So we're dealing also with a 25% poverty rate in New York. How are we going to be able to handle this? Is there any pushback in the Senate? Is there anything happening to possibly stop this deluge of terrible news?
Yeah, I mean, from the state level, in terms of the Medicaid cuts, all we really have available to us is the bully pulpit to point out just how terrible those would be if they cut them at the federal level. The actual cuts have not been decided at the federal level. They've just passed their sort of one step towards the federal budget that basically puts them on the chopping block, but it hasn't happened yet. What Senator Kruger has said about that and about any number of cuts that we probably will see from the feds is that all we can do is deal with it when they come, when we know what they are. We're going to pass a budget sometime at the beginning of April, and she thinks it's probably likely that we are going to have to revisit it, at least once and maybe multiple times over the year when things like that come down to us. I mean, there are limited options. We can't fill a $50 billion budget gap ourselves. But, obviously we will do what we can with what is actually handed down to us when it comes. I mean, you can certainly let your federal representatives know that you oppose those, although I think all of your federal representatives also oppose those Medicaid cuts. The louder we can be, and the more we can point out the damage that's going to come from those and all the other cuts. And that's something that Senator Kruger has been trying to do, is to get that message out there, because there's there's an overwhelming amount of news coming from this administration. And so it's important, Senator Kruger thinks part of her job is to point out what are the critical pieces of that and what the impacts they're going to have on people's day-to-day lives. And that's one thing we tried to do in our newsletter this month as well. So I think that is part of the job as well.
Jim.
Further to that discussion, Senator Schumer has announced that he's going to filibuster the House continuing resolution.
so that the, a government shutdown, federal government shutdown will be imminent.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering what plans, alternatives, Senator Krueger's made in the finance committee to account for ameliorate that shutdown.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to speak to her about that, since that sort of is just coming out today. So I will have to check in with her. I don't know off the top of my head.
Mhm. I think Anne had her hand and then Stu.
I'm gonna actually end on a positive note and just mostly really want to say thank you for including in the newsletter. There was a couple of graphs about, or charts, particularly about the taxes, which I had seen elsewhere and wanted to share with other people, but then couldn't find again. So thank you so much for saving, going down that rabbit hole. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's just really a concrete way of seeing what the damage will be to most, like, I think everybody in this room, of continuing the tax cuts. And it's just a really, right? It's in long. It's, yeah. So thank you for including that. And like I said, saving me the rabbit hole, and spreading the word.
Thank you.
Stu, last question.
Senator Krueger, I believe, chaired a joint committee that, amongst other things, had discovery reform, which is one of the issues that we're and other community boards are dealing with. The governor has put that into the budget request. So can you tell me if the senator is, or if the Senate has taken a position on that?
I believe that the Senate's one House resolution rejected the governor's proposal. My understanding is that that will be part of the discussion. So, I don't know where we're going to land on that. I can try to get some more information for you. That's one of the many pieces of the budget that I'm not fully knowledgeable on. So I will ask and see if I can get any more information for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Next, we'll go to Timothy Harrell from the Civilian Complaint Review Board.
He may not be here yet.
Okay, we'll come back to him. Joanna Sanchez from Assemblymember Epstein's office.
Hi, everyone. So we have some upcoming events that were included in the newsletter. Throughout March, we recognize the strength and resilience of women across the globe and celebrate Women's History Month. So therefore, you're invited to join us on Friday, March 14th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Center of Wellbeing and Happiness, which is 101 Avenue D. We will enjoy short films and poetry and dance. We also have our upcoming event for recycling your e-waste as well. And if you have any other further questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll include my information in the chat. Thank
Do we
you.
have any questions? No, great. Thank you very much.
You're
Maki Bentley from Congressman Nadler's office.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to add 3 quick things. Yesterday, the congressman voted against the House Republicans resolution. And in regards to the tax bill, just clarification on the congressman's stance on that. Anything that touches Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, any social service, is a flat out no on his end on that. And then last but not least, the congressman had a virtual town hall last month. You missed that. That is on the congressman's website, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, so you can find it there. And that should be it.
Do we have any questions? Maki.
Thank you for this.
Thank you. And now we have excuse me, Kristen Williams from the mayor's office.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Christian Williams. I'm the Deputy Commissioner in the Mayor's Office. I'm here covering for my colleague Robin Force, who's out of office today. I don't have any real special announcement, but the Mayor's Office is here to continue to provide support to the community board in any way. Any pressing issues, any hot button topics, anything important, I will make sure that they get addressed in a timely manner.
Do we have any questions for the mayor's office? No, we don't. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patrick Hill from Councilmember Powers' office.
So I don't have really anything else to add on top of our report, but I will highlight that next month, our office will be hosting a free bike helmet fitting and distribution event at St. Barton Park. That'll be April 19th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. If you're under 18, you have to make sure you have a parent with you to get consent. But aside from that, anyone's welcome to come and get a free bike helmet fitting and free helmet for if anyone has any specific questions.
Yeah, just a specific question on Cyclone Park. Solar 2, I think it's called. The construction there is continuing, but there's still like a big trailer and storage unit outside of the footprint of Solar 2.
Okay.
And it restricts access to the full park.
Okay.
And just with springtime coming and people wanting to use it. Just curious if there's a way that some of that material could be moved either into the footprint of the construction or some other solution to kind of do two things. One, reopen the park. And then second, if there could be some access point at the northern end of the park that just seems to be continuing on unabated because it really restricts access to it. So it just seems like they're basically done with the construction and they could put stuff in the footprint and really open it up for the spring.
So we can definitely reach out to the CCLs, the construction liaisons that are, there for that project and ask what's going on with that stuff that's been left there and see if there's any plan to immediately remove it and try to press them to get that removed ahead of the springtime. Yeah, absolutely.
Further to that, as you walk up from the Scotson Cove subway from there's a bicycle fence on the north side, but no indication that there is no true path there until you're basically above at the point of the sign. Okay, and it would be nice if they had a sign where the floodgate is open so that people know that yeah, I walked all the way practically to it tonight and saw it. Also, I noticed that the construction was supposed to be completed by 24th August. August of 24.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything indicating when it would be completed. Is it completed now?
The flood wall?
Solar 2.
Solar 2, I'm not entirely certain. I can definitely find out.
Yeah, we checked with BBC.
Yeah,
it's not complete.
It's not finished, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact status is. We can definitely find out.
EDC tends to drag through a lot of stuff.
So we definitely know who to ask. So
It's not EDC, it's DDC.
Yeah.
The Department of Design and Construction, not EDC.
Yeah, EDC, it's EDC's project. According to the sign.
Well, let's blame the right people. Anyway.
I definitely get more. I can try to see if there's one of the installs inside.
Any other question?
Great, thank you very much. Next we have Braca Rosenberg from the Borough President's Office.
Hi, sorry, took me a second to unmute. Hi everyone. I have submitted a report so you can look in there for more details. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I do want to highlight, especially for those community members here who have reapplied for reappointment on the board, please sign up and attend a group interview slot. They'll be occurring beginning tomorrow and for the next week. So please sign up for those. Beyond that, we have State of the Borough coming up, which we're really excited about on March 23rd. So please RSVP and come hear about Borough President Levine's vision and work that he's done for this borough. And then we also have a Know Your Rights campaign that we've been doing. We have a document with a lot of information that's really helpful to help understand your legal rights during any encounters that might occur with immigration enforcement. And so we're conducting workshops as well in Spanish and French. I have flyers in English, Spanish, and French. So please contact me if you want those to share with others who could benefit from these. And that's really it. Happy Purim and also Ramadan Mubarak.
And just, there are several members who are up for reappointment who haven't received a notification yet of the time.
Well, there's a bunch of slots that you can sign up for. You should have received a link, like an email with the link. Everybody who submitted an application received that. So check in your inbox, check in your other folders where it might have gone. If you haven't, then please email me. Everyone should have my email, hopefully, or Sandy, I can email it to you as well. I'll drop the link actually in the chat as well. Then you could use to sign up for an interview slot.
Thank you. Any questions for Brackett? Larry?
I just want to mention that I received that invitation a couple of days ago, and those interviews are starting tomorrow. Can you tell us a little bit about the format?
Yeah, well, it's the same format as we've done in the past. So whenever you're appointed, it should be the same, but there's a big group interview session. You'll have a lot of people and we'll split you into breakout rooms to do group assignments where everybody kind of weighs in and tries to find consensus and attacking two challenges that are meant to simulate the kinds of issues that you'll deal with on a board. I can even tell you one of them is distributing a budget. One of them is assessing a new development. And it's just, then we sit in the breakout rooms, we observe, and we kind of see how people interact and work together to address the task at hand.
Any other questions? Great, thank you very much. Next, we have Evelyn Collado from the Controller Lander's office.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Community Board 6. I'm Evelyn Collado, Manhattan Borough Director for the Office of the New York City Comptroller, Brad Lander. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. First, I want to share that our office is looking at all the options in response to the unprecedented actions by President Trump and Elon Musk. We are continuing to monitor various federal funding freezes and grabbacks, including their clawback of $80 million from one of our city's bank accounts. We are challenging this action in the court system and continue coordinating closely with the Attorney General's office in order to understand the legal landscape while we closely monitor budget impacts to the city. In addition, I want to bring your attention to our updated Turn Up the Heat report released last week, which was originally issued in 2023 on the one-year anniversary of the tragic fire of the Twin Parks development in the Bronx that took the lives of 17 New Yorkers and injured dozens more. The original report identified 1,283 buildings where tenants complained of a lack of heat more than 5 times each winter between 2017 and 2021. In January 2025, a Bronx building burned, leaving over 200 residents, including 58 children, displaced from their home. And since then, our office released, and after we released the original report, space heaters have caused 50 fires in the city. Our updated report found that since then, 901 of the 1,283 buildings remain listed as chronically underheated for 7 winters in a row, with 20% of those 901 buildings never obtaining any intervention from HPD for the entire 7-year period from 2017 to 2024. The report found that when deployed, the city's enforcement strategies for addressing heat complaints are generally effective. But given HPD's failure to deploy the tools at its disposal to address the situation, we are now calling for HPD to immediately escalate its enforcement mechanism to transfer building ownership away from owners that disregard tenant health and safety and into the hands of responsible owners. You can find more information about the HEAT report and others reports on our website at comptroller.nysc.gov/newsroom. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for the Controller's Office? No, great. Thank you very much. Next, we have Katie Lowe from Carlina Rivera's office. Councilmember Carlina Rivera.
Hi, everyone. Katie Loeb from Councilmember Carlina Rivera's office. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So we had a really interesting conversation of public safety last week about the changes to or proposed reforms, local and legislation about discovery. And obviously, I know this is an issue that Councilmember Rivera is something she cares about. And I'm wondering, like, we're really grappling with it. It's a very difficult issue. And if you've got input for that, we'd love to hear it. And I'm sorry, I don't want to speak out of turn like next to us here, but right?
So discovery is a state bill, and while I've got my state colleagues here, I would be remiss to speak on that. It's certainly something that we've heard a lot about and was included in like the bail reforms of 2019. But I would defer to my state colleagues.
Okay, well, it just would, I understand that, but I mean, I think it's something that Carlina has thought about, and so it, you know, even though it is a state level issue, I would love to hear what she thinks about it. The other thing that I want to say is thank you for sending your report and, you know, getting up and saying, no, I got nothing else to say. And for the other electeds who did not send in a report, I would like to give you a little bit of grief about that and ask you to please do that in the future. For you and thank you and a but.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. And Jesus, has anyone signed up to speak in the public session?
Indeed, they have. All right, we've got quite a few folks who have signed up. So first on the list is Pam Zonzius of the Sutton Area Community, who wishes to speak on Resolution 2B, which is on tonight's agenda. Ms. Zonzius, would you approach the dais, please? You will have 3 minutes to make your remarks to the board.
Everyone, I'm not a loudspeaker, but I hope you can hear me, and I'll speak up. So I'm Pam Zonzius, I'm Vice President of the Sutton Area Community, and I'm here today as a resident and community advocate, speaking on behalf of my neighbors and all those impacted by the unsafe traffic conditions in front of 404 East 55th and 405 East 54. There are approximately 800 residents in these two buildings. 50% are elderly and handicapped. That's one for residents that don't have safe and clear access to their buildings. This resolution request is about one thing only, and that's safety. We are urging the New York City Department of Transportation to designate a no standing zone at these locations to ensure safe and accessible passenger drop-off for residents. This is a quality of life and safety issue. The present condition is both unacceptable but can be fixed. Right now, this stretch of roadway is a hazard. There is only one active traffic lane, and it is severely constrained by a bike lane, parking lane, and city bike docking station. Additionally, on 55th Street from First Avenue to Sutton Place, there's an MTA layover location. The result, residents with wheelchairs, walkers, baby strollers, and luggage are struggling to safely exit vehicles and get into their buildings. The parking lane obstructs access to the building. Often cars are parked bumper to bumper, making it nearly impossible to safely reach the sidewalk. Emergency vehicles have nowhere to pull over when responding to calls of these buildings. Ambulances are forced to stop in the only traffic lane, blocking the road entirely, creating further risks for everyone. This is an urgent issue affecting our entire community, and we have a petition signed by 60 community residents who are deeply concerned for their safety. This change will allow vehicles to safely drop off and pick up passengers without blocking traffic, provide residents with mobility challenges, a designated unobstructed space to enter and exit the vehicles without risk. Ensure that emergency vehicles can pull over safely, reducing delays and preventing further traffic congestion, improve traffic flow, pedestrian safety, and overall accessibility for everyone. We as a community are asking the DOT to act now before a preventable accident occurs. The Transportation Committee and full board passed a policy and procedure resolution last month. As you know, last week, the Transportation Committee passed from the policy and procedure resolution, a SAC requested resolution for no standing zone for these two buildings. We are in complete compliance with CP's policy and the resolution requirement and urge the board to vote yes for this resolution request. By implementing this change, we can make our streets safer, more accessible, and better for all residents. Let's work together to ensure that everyone, regardless of mobility, has a safe way to access their home. Thank you.
Is the 800 apartments that block?
No, there are 400 apartments and 800 residents.
It's 400 apartments and 400 apartments.
400 and 400.
So a total of 800 apartments.
Correct.
It's much more than 800 residents, right? It
Yes,
could be as
there
high
are.
as like 12 or 1,300 residents.
Correct. So we have 50% that are handicapped and elderly. Like, literally having. Any other questions?
Is there something that happened in terms of street design in the last several years that
Yes.
resulted in this? And what are those changes?
Well, the bike lane was one change.
Okay.
That was a big change. And then there was from the bike lane, which the bike lane moved out a foot from the curb.
Right.
Then you have the bike lane, and then you have the parking, and then you have one through lane, and then you have a docking station, a city bike docking station, right? That's on 54th. On 55th, the change has been that there is an MTA layover now on the north side of the street.
Yeah, so you're saying basically the changes are what
It's
impact
because of the
your all next
changes, exactly, where the problems are coming from, yeah.
Great. I think we can address questions to the Transportation Committee later on. And we'll keep moving if you don't mind. If you don't mind staying, and then you can answer anything later on too, that comes up. Thank you.
All right, the next person on the speakers list is Joan Schachter, who is the board president of 251 East 51st Street and wishes to speak on resolution 3P on tonight's agenda regarding roadway dining setup for Charisma. Ms. Schachter, are you with us? I think I see her, yes. Ms. Schachter.
Yeah, she's here on Zoom.
Ms. Schachter, can you?
Yeah,
there?
I
All
was
right.
just able to
Wonderful.
unmute. Thank you.
Okay. You have 3 minutes to make your remarks. You may begin now.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Manhattan Community Board 6. My name is Joni Schachter. I'm the board president of 251 East 51st Street, located on the northwest corner of 51st and 2nd, where I represent approximately 200 apartments. I'm here to urge Manhattan Community Board 6 to vote against 3P of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. It's an application for another dining shed on 51st Street, which is already highly congested. The number of sheds on 51st Street has made it especially difficult for any cars to turn onto 51st Street, which then leads to one narrow lane of traffic. It's extremely dangerous as it has led to a regular bottleneck of vehicles, but also because our local 17th precinct of the NYPD and our Engine 8, Ladder 2, Battalion 8 of the FDNY are both located on 51st Street, just west of 3rd Avenue. Their inability to properly navigate this particular block is a matter of life and death. This application is from Charisma, a hookah lounge, and is located mere feet away from another dining shed on the southwest corner of the block. In the past, Charisma's outdoor seating was rarely used during regular operating hours and was instead used well past midnight as an extension of their late night lounge activities and by people wandering around the neighborhood. This establishment already has a balcony area and has regularly polluted our neighborhood with smoke that would often waft up into apartments. The dining shed added to the late night disturbances with loud patrons and others creating noise that would keep our tenants and neighbors up well past midnight. They are best suited to be an indoor venue. On top of these issues, our tenants and neighborhood have seen a significant increase in trash, food scraps, and vermin due to the dining sheds. Charisma's garbage, which contributed to those issues, was placed just east of the shed between their establishment and a convenience store next to it. An increase in sanitation services has not accompanied the increase in dining sheds, which has led to a poorer quality of life for many. Lastly, Charisma's shed is directly across the street from my building's garage. Due to the depth of that shed and its location, it's very difficult to exit our garage and turn onto the street. People have gotten into accidents because they were unable to clear the shed when exiting the garage. Every blockage causes traffic to get backed up, the constant honking of horns, and disturbances to the neighborhood. Our organization has always been supportive of small businesses, and we are sympathetic for the need to find additional streams of revenue. However, revenue should not be prioritized over quality of life for tenants and neighbors. It is evident that dining sheds have run rampant without any standards and systematic thinking for where they should be located. We urge the community board to vote no on 3P of the Business Fairs and Licensing Committee so that tenants can live safely, peacefully, and comfortably. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Schachter. And just a programming note, if everyone noticed in the most recent Community Board 6 blast, the Department of Transportation is having a public hearing on this particular application, Charisma Lounge, on March 26th at 11 a.m. The information is on our in our newsletter. It will soon be on our website. It's also available online at the City Record, which is where the city publishes all of its public hearings. We'll move on to the next speaker, John Noble, who is a resident of Manhattan Community District 6 and wishes to speak on Resolution 2C.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me? Oh. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if the...
Oh, hello?
We can hear him.
Okay.
Okay. So my name is John Noble. I'm a resident of Community District 6. I'm here to speak in support of the 34th Street Busway. It's a known fact that getting across town for transit users is extremely difficult, and that most, if not all, crosstown buses are notoriously slow. The notable exception is 14th Street buses because they're dedicated busway. Unfortunately, even though the 14th Street busway has been wildly successful, no other crosstown bus route has established a busway, and I think that it's time to remedy that with a busway on 34th Street. It's a route with high usage that could benefit a busway, and it would, boost the economy of that the riders use, either to go to business or to go as a person spending money in the district. As a side benefit to the busway, pedestrian safety is improved along the corridor. And as a person who walks around the district a lot, as well as bikes around the district, I would be a beneficiary of that. I think that we should think of how we serve the majority of Manhattanites in the city who are pedestrians and transit users and not car owners. And a busway on 34th Street is desperately overdue to serve those constituents. So I'm asking that the board vote yes on this resolution to sign on to a 34th Street busway support letter. And thank you for allowing me the time to speak on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Noble. Next, we move on to Paul Crickler,
Yes.
Crickler, a resident of another district, but wishes to speak to us on the same topic as the previous speaker. Mr. Crickler, you have 3 minutes to make your remarks. You may begin now.
Thank you very much, CB6. I'm hugely in support of you all signing this letter in support of the busway. I use buses all the time going up and down and across Manhattan. And as the previous speaker said, we all know getting across town's horrible. In my opinion, if we had a busway like 14th Street on every major cross street, if you could live within 5 or 6 or 7 blocks of a street where you can get across town in 15 minutes, I think that would revolutionize, it would transform the way hundreds of thousands of people, residents and visitors, get across Manhattan. So I'm hugely in support, and I hope you all sign on to the letter. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your remarks. Next on the list is Alex Wong, who is a resident of Manhattan Community District 6 and wishes to speak to the board on the same topic as the previous two speakers. Alex Wong, are you with us?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Wong, you have 3 minutes. You may begin now.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Alex Wong, resident of CB6 in Sutton Place. I am a longtime Manhattan resident, and I also echo those sentiments on difficulties getting cross town, especially if there's no, if you're trying to get somewhere like Upper West Side or places that don't have a direct cross-town train connection. So I really like to echo that sentiment. For cross-town travel like that, in a hurry, I would personally have to usually opt towards using a city bike or electric city bike to avoid this congestion on the crosstown buses. But I also do note that this is not an option for people who are seniors and with disabilities who are unable to use that option. And so I'm strongly in favor of the busway on 34th Street as an option for those people, and also especially in times like winter for people who do bike or as well. Yeah, so I strongly support saying yes to the busway on 34th Street. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those remarks. Next on the list is Daniel Sutton, who is a resident of another district, but wishes to speak to the board on the same topic as the last 3-4 speakers. I forget now. Mr. Sutton, you have 3 minutes to make your remarks. You may begin. First of all, do we have Daniel Sutton?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you may begin now.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Daniel, and I live in Community District 2. I'm here to support the letter in support of the 34th Street Busway 2. I live 2 blocks away from the 14th Street Busway, and that really helped the whole area. It increased bus speeds, it made it safer for pedestrians, and increased the ability for emergency vehicles to traverse 14th Street and access where they needed to go. So it really improved everything. So I think the same thing should be done for 34th Street, and that would help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton, for your remarks. Next on the list is Christopher Sanders. Do we have Christopher Sanders? I don't see.
Neither do I.
Okay, so we'll move on.
We can, this is almost like a poll of residents. They're repeating the same thing. Can we get one spokesman to consolidate what they're saying?
And we discussed that, but we thought it was appropriate to allow people their 3 minutes.
All right, we'll move on to the next speaker, Michael Dupre, who is a resident of this district, also wishes to speak on the busway. Mr. Dupre, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll be pretty fast because I'm going to repeat pretty much the same as the other member said, but So I live actually on 34th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue and commute to my office near Columbus Circle using the M34. So for me, it would be very important to have a bus while like other people living in the street and in the neighborhood. So yeah, I remember my very first ride on Sunday seeing those sleek light blue buses, auto boarding, off-board fare payments, and thought, oh, SBS works. Yeah, I think it was a huge improvement. It does not work anymore. It might work on a Sunday, but it doesn't work on a weekday. The bus moves on average at a speed of about 4.5 miles an hour, just barely faster than walking. By the time you wait for the bus, watch it sit at stops as people slowly board and exit and deal with the traffic, you realize you could have just walked. And in fact, there have been so many times I've simply walked to Penn Station because it was faster. Do I want to do it every time? No, especially in the winter and the rain at night. So is there a better way to get across town? No, we don't have a subway line like 14th Street or 42nd Street. So right now, no. But we have the power to change that. So I'm obviously in favor of the busway. So 3 points, busway make faster, reliable transportation. 4 line that we have 20,000 people daily relying on this route. So we deserve something better. Something that is important here to highlight, a busway is not just about better bus service, it's about making the street safer for everyone. By giving buses dedicated space, we reduce conflicts between vehicles, cyclists, and pedestrians. So we can highlight the fact that on 14th Street, injuries dropped by 17% after the busway was installed. And very important point, the busway is not about moving people faster. It's about making 34th Street a better place to live, to work, and visit. Right now, congestion dominates, but a redesign would bring cleaner air, and a more efficient design would provide a better experience of all. Let's make people enjoy 34th Street and not hate it. So I'm in favor of the busway. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your remarks. And now our final speaker, A. Mai Lan Lo, who is representing the Board of Gramercy Arms at 102 East 22nd Street, wishes to speak about, I think, a bar in her neighborhood. She's here live. She's here live.
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Do you want to come closer to the
Yeah.
owl? Okay.
3 minutes. You can begin now.
Lan Lo, and I'm a resident of Gramercy Arms at 102 East 22nd Street between Park and Lex, and I've lived there for 27 years. I'm here speaking tonight with the approval of the co-op board about Dom Lounge located in the basement of the former United Charities building. In 2019, Dom presented itself at a community hearing as an exclusive members-only club with music, piano, and was approved by CB6. The State Liquor Authority gave approval for a tavern liquor license during the pandemic in late 2020. On their application to the State Liquor Authority, Dom described itself as an elevated cocktail bar with 1950s feel. No was checked off that Dom would not permit dancing. Capacity was listed at 74 people, and a doorman was to ensure that people didn't loiter outside. While Dom's official address is 287 Park Avenue South, its actual entrance is unmarked on 105 East 22nd Street, the United Charities building entrance, directly across the street from my building. And there are residential buildings all on the south side of East 22nd Street between Park and Lex. Over the years, there have been issues with patrons loudly carousing on the street between the hours of 11 and 4 a.m., along with lots of horn honking due to traffic caused by late night Uber and taxi pickups. Despite numerous appeals to Dom's owner, Albert Trammer, loitering and nose problems have not been addressed. Last Saturday, things reached a tipping point. By 11:15, there was a line snaking down East 22nd Street of 75 people and one doorman. An hour later, there were still people in line. Mind you, 74-person capacity. I uploaded video footage of this in my written complaint to CB6. These issues have seriously ramped up due to Dom's rebranding, and anyone can go look at the website, dom-lounge.com, as a music and dance venue open broadly to the public and for private corporate events, advertising DJs, live music, themed salsa and Bollywood dance parties, beckoning people to hit the dance floor. In June 2024, the New York Post reported that Albert Trammer's partner, so this is the owner, had sued him for ruinous behavior for staging intercourse and other sex acts at Dom. In addition, his son, Jacob, the general manager, was referring business hours. And there are photos of this in the New York Post. So anyone can go look at New York Post Dom Lounge. And again, it's dom-lounge.com. In closing, CB6 approved Dom as a sophisticated jazz piano bar with no dancing in a Park Avenue South address. This is a far cry from what Dom is today, a nightclub on East 22nd Street that sells itself, if you Google it, as the best bar in New York City, and has loads of questionable and shady behavior going on into the wee hours of the morning. I thank the board for listening and for helping to address the situation.
Certainly, go ahead.
Have you filed any complaints with the city or the state liquor license? How far has it gone?
So the board instructed people to call 311 or to report online. So there have been numerous people over the years, I don't know how many, that have gone that avenue. I think I'm the first person who requested through FOIL to find out, okay, what are the parameters of this business? What were they approved for? Did their license change? And I just recently, this line of 75 people, this rebranding, if you go look at its website as a dance music club and open to the general public, he has a new partner. So this has been, it really has taken over. Like I anticipate the lines that were bothering us are now going to be reaching, and all it takes is a text. I guess there was a famous video. But I didn't even know about the Post article until recently. So I didn't know that happened. So to answer your question, no, I think I'm trying to now really push this thing further. So this is my first step that I'm getting advice, but my patience is worn out. People on the board dealt with him and he's promised things.
And we've suggested that you come to our vault committee and that we can then help expedite some of these concerns with the SLA.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We have a copy of the testimony, and so given that, we're going to look into it.
She'll come to you at Paul.
Okay, let's put it on the weekend.
Yeah.
So there's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not on the list
No,
tonight.
it's not on the list.
Okay. See you next month. Some of you. I'm on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
That concludes our speakers list.
All right, thank you. The minutes from the February 12th full board meeting were distributed to board members ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Board members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the February 12th full board meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. Chair's report. First, congratulations to Rabia Iqbal, who had her baby. You may not have known she was pregnant. But we welcome baby Ariz to our community, and Rabia will be joining us again in May. The community board applications have closed, and we will be receiving 6 new members to the board this spring. Hopefully everybody who reapplied we haven't counted any of that. So we're sure you're going to just come back to us. The MSPI Potential Closure Committee had their first meeting and will coordinate with the Health Committee on addressing the issues around the closing and the potential for development of that site. There have been questions about the work going on at the Soloviev site at First Avenue from 38th to 41st Street. And the Soloviev group is preparing an outdoor art installation called Path of Liberty, that which unites us.
Oh, God.
I said there's some irony in there.
They're calling it Liberty Place or something on Google.
Path of Liberty.
No,
The whole site. Anyway, the name of the art installation is Path of Liberty. It's to open this spring, and yes, there is additional information at their website. At Borough Board, we voted on a resolution identifying borough-wide budget priorities. Many aligned with ours, not everything, but most. And the biggest was the concern of lack of affordable housing and support for those in need of mental health support. There was a robust discussion, 3 hours, and identification of what are borough-wide contentious issues. And there are many. We didn't agree on everything. A reminder of the 2 charter revision commissions, and we really need to keep on top of those. Apparently there was a meeting, the first meeting was last week, I believe.
It was Monday.
Monday. And I think Jesus is going to give us an update on the Hallmark store. And I pass it over to Jesus.
I hadn't planned to, but if you'd like to. So we have been advocating for the community on this matter ever since they came out in full force to oppose a cannabis license application at the former Hallmark location on 44th and 2nd. We passed a resolution that implored the OCM to not grant this license. We have been working with our elected officials, many of whom have stepped up and advocated for us at the state level. Senator Gonzalez's office, along with Assemblymember Epstein's office, jointly penned a letter to the Office of Cannabis Management asking them to deny this license. Senator Kruger's office has also been advocating. It's not technically their district, but right across the street. But given that many of her constituents care about this, she also has been advocating. We understand that there is some movement. Apparently, this Mr. Flynn person is under investigation. And the last I checked with OCM, the applicant had a series of deficiencies in their application that they needed to cure. I asked for more details. They asked me to foil. So here we are again. We'll do that. But I don't know how this will ultimately shake out, but the community board, having heard the community on this, is continuing to plug away at this, and we will not stop until there's nothing left to be done. So.
It's around the corner. Thank you. I'm really, really great.
Well, that's what we're here to do. So. Am I still at my report?
Yes,
okay.
Your report.
All right. I guess we have a lot on the agenda, so I'll leave my housekeeping stuff for some other time. I will say we did reach a communication from the Parks Department today. They wished for us to inform you of an event, a scoping meeting for 24 Sycamores Park, which is technically in Community District 8, but not far out of our district. But since many residents in our district also use this park, the Parks Department wanted us to be aware that this scoping meeting was happening. It will be in our upcoming blast, and it is currently on the CB6 events page. Wednesday, March 26th at 6:30 p.m. It is a Zoom scoping meeting, and you can find the details on our website and in our upcoming blast that'll come out Friday, I believe. Yes, so users of 24 Sycamores Park, even though it's not in our district, turn out to this scoping hearings to have your voice heard. I will leave it there. We have a lengthy agenda.
And our treasurer, Olivia Shrednick, isn't with us this evening, but we're in good shape. So
actually, I see her right there.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
We weren't expecting her, but I see her.
We didn't think you would be able to make it.
No worries. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So according to OMB, as of March 3rd, 2025, the CB6 budget is $612,004. The encumbered funds are $10,152, and the liquidated funds are $368,783. Encumbered and liquidated funds break down as follows. Rent is $177,905. Personal services is $182,297. Other than personal services is $18,732. Unencumbered funds total $233,068. of which $142,811 are street fair funds. This will all be included in next month's meeting minutes, and I'm happy to follow up if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. We've now arrived at our committee reports and resolutions. A reminder that the same rules stated at the beginning of the meeting still apply. Members of the public, please note that during this section of the meeting, we only recognize questions from members of the full board. The CB6 staff emailed the digital ballot to all members. Please click on the link in your email to open the ballot, select your name, and select your vote on each resolution after it is presented. At the end of the meeting, please submit your ballot after you've indicated all of your votes. Do not send it before the end of the discussion on the proposed resolutions. And you will not be able to submit the ballot unless you vote on every resolution. If you plan on abstaining, please select abstain. It will count as a negative vote. Final vote counts will be announced after the second roll call. If any part of our voting procedure is unclear, please raise your hand. We are short-staffed this evening, so board members who have a question or comment, please do come up to the front of the room. Jim needs his phone. All right. Parks, Landmarks, and Cultural Affairs, Neil Barkley.
Right, I'm trying to be loud enough and quick. All right, let's see. So we have the first one that is up. This is about the tree breaks that would be installed between 53rd Street and 59th Street. This is a resolution for a budget request. Any questions? That's for you. Yes.
Sorry, I had one. Yeah,
sure.
I just wasn't. Are we assisting them in fundraising, or are we asking the Parks Department to provide the funding?
We are it's a budget request.
But so we could assist them in raising the money, or it's a budget request to who? Who do we expect to?
So it's the budget request. We're going to put it on our budget, and then as we know, different ways to go ahead and to get the funding. So yeah.
But it would be the Parks Department, not
the Parks Department, yes, would fund, or if an elected official put the funding on.
Okay, they just seem like two different streams.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So.
And I just one other thing, I did attend a tree bed conference, whatever you want to call it, and they noted that actually the Parks Department doesn't allow tree grades.
Well, we've had Sheena at the meetings. She hasn't said anything about it. We've also had people from the board, of course, everyone is online this evening, the smart people. And they had also noted, they have seen different places that also have the tree grades, but like I said, Sheena was on there. And she had no issue.
We might just want to check with them.
So.
Okay.
If it's a budget request, those aren't due till October, so is it pressing?
No, we were told to look at all budget requests immediately, right? No.
Yes.
We're on top of the game here. We're on top of the game. No, so again, this is just something just like we've done in the past with the resolutions where we have that and any type of group that is asking for the request, we put it in our request, but they can use the resolution. So there's a part of, the portfolio or the presentation that they would have to their elected official. So there's something nice in there because ultimately what will happen, we have members of the, great representatives from our elected. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. So with with that, first thing they'll say is I have spoken to the community board. They have a resolution that shows they have spoken with us. Any other questions?
Stu.
Oh, Stu.
So the tree grades, the flat grade on the ground.
Yes.
Let's water through. It looks like most of the tree pits right now do have surrounds. They have tree pit protection.
Tree beds.
Marty's not here. Marty's not, and happy birthday, Marty, when you watch it.
I appreciate it. I'm guessing, the logic of a grid is that you can walk on it and sort of expand the sidewalk. On the other hand, where the tree beds are protected, some of them have plants in them, some of them just have weeds. And so I'm just looking, I want to understand the logic of replacing those. Also, if we are replacing them, there's a lot of buildings that would like the protection around the beds. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen with the ones that are removed.
So some of those, not all trees that had, you know, I guess like the tree guards, we'll call them. The reason for the tree grates, and I was actually gonna look at photos, but I said no one wants to see it. It's really for rat abatement. So I did take a look at some photos and videos, and rats, they really can't get in to the tree grate, so that's, you know, a big reason. So on First Avenue, where this would be in 59th to 53rd, there has been a lot of focus, TBA, Turtle Bay, Neighborhood Association, Turtle Bay Association, they have, they've done work there with watering trees right there in, you know, middle of First Avenue. Councilman Powers, he also provided new waste baskets up and down First Avenue, so there really has been a lot of focus on, you know, I guess like rat abatement and keeping trash off of First Avenue. So that's, you know, rat abatement is a key, and I think that can help.
And what's gonna happen with the current tree?
Well, I don't-
Tree guard.
Well, not, you said it again.
I'm sorry, tree dead guard.
No, I'm joking, it's okay, we can use.
It's a joke, yeah.
It's a joke, sorry. No, some of them do not have it. That's what, you know, when you walk sometimes and you see people almost fall. Sometimes there isn't anything there with the tree that is.
Okay, so where there are the ones though, are those gonna be just thrown out, or they're gonna be given to other buildings? Because they're expensive things that people, and so that'll be my last part of this question is, how do we justify, you know, a lot of buildings want these things. Here you've got a community that's organized to adapt to them, but how do we fairly distribute this sort of stuff?
Well, I mean, what do we do with the old stuff?
Yeah.
Give them Craigslist. Trust me, I'm all about reusing things.
I'll take some.
There you go. No, honestly, I mean, I agree with you. We throw away so much junk. I mean, we throw everything away. So it bothers me, trust me. That's the only stuff. So I don't know. You want that?
I'll take them.
Sorry, Anne had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Anne.
Sorry.
Couple of questions about this. I think in concept, it's great. I think though, if trees have something surrounding them, it may not help with the rats, but it does stop dogs peeing in them, which arguably is like harder, like that's worse for the trees. That's one thought. Another thought is, has the Sudden Area community considered applying for like the city council funding that wouldn't come, I can't remember what it's called.
Discretionary funding there.
Yeah, like
That
the
or
like
then,
community.
right, and we could do the voting, but Carlina.
Participatory budgeting.
Thing.
And then, like, so 61 trees in 6 blocks, like you do that.
Some years it's the number one.
53rd to 59. Right?
Yeah, there's 61.
Well, the
So-
reso is written, says 53rd, 59.
That's right.
So is there, okay,
6 blocks, like it just, I mean, that was something that's trouble. No, and have you considered participatory going?
so I'm sorry, just 1 second. You know, it's going to be Parks Committee, right? I mean, yeah, you know, they've come, they've presented, we talked about it, so, I mean, something like that's probably better offline. You know, if you'd like to discuss it, but I just think for here, it's a
Yeah.
resolution. And
I just think it might be clear if we said we will look for other sources and not the Parks Department, because I think, you know, we have a lot of budget requests from the Parks Department. And, you know, it's one of those issues of everybody wants these, but why do we identify just one specific area? I think we're very supportive.
What do you mean the area?
Well, you know, we're from 14th to 60th Street. Shouldn't we be asking for them everywhere? If we
mean-
want the Parks Department to be the one that's the source of
I
the
mean, there are a lot of things I think that we do that are focused in certain areas and we can't expand it for the
Well,
entire
it's-
district. I think what we're looking at here is that you have the section, right? 5953rd, and it has been identified that this is something that will help with rat abatement, make First Avenue, you know, nice and, you know, it will look better. I don't want to say make anything greater than that's disgusting. I really can't. It's not even funny anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what, I just think. Yeah. it's
Tanya,
Just the section.
had a question.
I want to second what Sandy just said, you know, I personally, I think that those fences around the trees are actually hazardous. In some cases, because they get hit with cars when cars open their doors, people trip on them, so I really would love it. If this is something, if rat abatement is one of the top 3 reasons why we want to do this, we should take it further. Take it further because I think it is a safer way to handle it, and it's a better way to handle it. So
I mean, the tree grades.
yeah, the tree grades.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's something that cannot happen through the entire district. I think this was something that was proposed. There was, you know, it was an invoice, detailed invoice. Everything was put together. They came multiple times. We have 2 chairs, former chairs on the board. We got Marty Barrett and Mark Thompson. They were both, you know, comfortable with this. Talked about what the situation was. We had a really good conversation about this multiple times. So I think it should be good. I mean, I think it'll be really nice. And I would encourage everyone to take a walk up First Avenue. And I think this will help. This will even make it better. Yes. They can't get in. Because I didn't want to put videos up. I didn't. I looked at it. No, I mean.
Was it carrying a pizza?
I mean, it wasn't moving, okay? It wasn't moving. That's all I'm saying. Exactly. So it's like a pointer. See, there you go.
I think it's a great idea.
I just have a question. The resolve seems to imply there's a specific request by staff to someone, but it doesn't actually make it clear. So is it that we're saying that we think this is a good use of money? We're asking parks to actually expend the money. It's a little easy what we're asking for and advocating.
Okay, what we're asking for here, we're asking for the capital expenditure, right? There are 2 ways, you know, that you can look at that, you know, there are different ways that we can go ahead and make it fun, right? I think one, it will be.
When you say capital expenditure, you're talking about like a parks capital expenditure.
Right, so yes, so
Okay.
that can go on the budget request.
Right.
Right.
We don't really do that enough.
Right. So this is just the part when people go to their elected officials and they try to advocate to get the funds. The first thing that the elected official always says, have you spoken to the community? That's why we're here. So we've done the first step. This is the first step. So they'll have the resolution there.
But this isn't the first step because we never actually put a capital request in this format.
No, we've done this before.
Can you cite an example that I can look up? Because I actually don't.
We've done it multiple.
In a resolution?
Yeah.
But a capital request?
Yeah.
The Parks Committee has last year.
Yeah, we've done it a couple times.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's, so.
Doesn't seem like very effective use.
Gloria?
Yes.
I'm just here to support Neil.
Thank you.
As part of the committee, all Parks talks about the Parks Department talks about every meeting is what they're doing to get rid of rats. I mean, like, it is like a high priority, so it fits so perfectly into this resolution and what we're trying to help support.
The Parks Department also tells us they're underfunded constantly.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, we can't really, take that one on, but yeah. Is there anyone else
Yeah, I think I live in that area, as you know. I think it's a good idea, and I think what we can look at this as a pilot project, and if it works and if it's effective, and it may very well be, that then we can expand it. But I certainly would urge passage, and then let SAC, which is a very effective community group, advocate with parks and with their elected official to try and get the funds.
Yes, Chair.
Sorry.
Yeah, so if we're advocating for the city to spend money from CapEx, then it's not a sudden area community capital request, it's our request.
Right.
So
Okay.
to be really clear, who is asking what, because it's not right now. So I would advocate then we strike sudden area communities capital request from therefore and change that to making that a community board 6 capital expenditure request.
That makes it even stronger. Thank you.
Jim?
Okay. I'm sorry, I find this whole resolution to be out of order. There should be part of good capital budget request for the Parks Committee, and that should be it. If you agree with what Sutton Area Committee Board wants to do, so I'll be willing to go, since it's not following the proper procedure.
Do we have, Marion?
Why is it so expensive? Because it comes to over $3,000.
Anything in New York City. I mean, like, you know, say, oh, New York's so expensive. No, it really is. You get, yeah, you get your labor, no, everything is like, trust me, when we see these, you know, different types of, I guess, like proposals and putting things together. We had, just as an example, there's a small park house. It's in, Stuyvesant Square Park on the east part. I think it's worth, I think it's the project is like $2.3 million. It's a really small park house. So yeah, it's just expensive. It is really expensive labor session.
Do we have any, Stu?
Can we just raise it to a point of order? I mean, if someone has to make a decision on the parliamentary. I again contend that this is a capital budget request that should not be in the form of a resolution that the board votes on now.
Well,
it should go as part of a regular capital budget.
But it's going to be in there.
Okay,
you don't need a resolution.
Well, if that's, do we need to vote on that as like we vote to send it?
I'm sorry?
Do we need to vote on that, or how do we actually resolve
I
it?
don't, I mean, unless you wish.
You want to make a motion and we'll vote?
Table.
I would. If you want me to table, I can table. If you want me to refer, I can refer. I would refer it back to the committee and have them included in their capital budget request. If that's would be my motion.
It will be in.
Okay. Did we have second?
I want to say something before.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Jim is correct. It is a bit superfluous to do a resolution and just capture the budget request, but I don't think that hurts. So my suggestion would be to just vote on this. Maybe affirmative, and then just also keep it in the budget request as well, just to keep the moving along. It doesn't hurt it.
In response,
yeah.
In response, if you do that for this, you'll be doing that for every capital budget request that we have. We don't.
No, we have, the Parks Committee has.
Well,
we have done that, came through, we talked about it.
You
I mean, like I
just
said,
prioritize them, okay.
I mean,
The board staff already has enough work to do.
So
with the capital budget request as it is.
So this
Doesn't need to be
was
supported by a resolution.
And
He did already.
He did already, and it was seconded, so we will vote on that. Okay. Well, we should really vote on what was moved, just because. Is it to?
The motion to refer this back to the committee where they hopefully will withdraw it. As if they introduce it again next month, I'm just gonna motion to table it, which is a lot harder.
Sure, do we?
It was seconded, so, would you like to address it? Well, certainly.
But to take it back to committee?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I mean, we have, look, I'll go to
this.
Jim, give me a second.
Called.
Yeah, it's been called, so.
Well, no, I thought you had asked.
If
me.
you have a concise Well, I'm happy to let you say something, please.
Oh, look, we can do it very concisely. So this is what we've been doing. I've been the chair of Parks, the Parks Committee since 2023. And then on there, we had people, we had Mark Thompson, we had Marty Barrett, Rashma was on there, Anton. We have like a really, really good group of veterans and people that've been on, involved with the committee for a long time. And so this was something that we started to do as the Parks Committee. Right, but everyone was comfortable with it. These are people with multiple years of experience and leadership experience, and then they were fine with it. This is the reason why we put it on.
So wasting
in this
your
form.
time and the board's time.
Okay, thank you. Let's vote.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. All right, so do we do that by show of hands or roll call or?
Well, if it's going to be overwhelming in one way or the other, then a show of hands would work. But if it's not, if it's ambiguous, then we should do a roll call.
Did you have something to say?
Let's take the vote.
Let's do a show of hands first. If it's close, we'll then do a roll call. Okay, so the motion is to send this back to committee for reconsideration to install it as part of the budget request. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And on the
I count 17, which is not enough.
17 out of 30. No, we have 30, how many?
Well, actually, yes, we have.
Sorry,
Hold on.
let's do the roll call. Let's just go. Well, it's 17 out of 30 opposed.
But you have to actually have,
Yeah.
and just assume.
Thank you.
That's.
Okay.
that's fine.
Who does not want to
Oh,
send it
I'm
back?
sorry. Abstentions. Is that what we're talking about?
No, you did in favor, you should do against.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. All those against sending this back to committee. So-
All right.
Against?
I need 2 and 2.
And 2.
Okay. And then abstentions.
Anyone abstaining? Abstaining for cause.
All right, and we've got 17 in favor to send it back and 15 to keep it.
Did Paige vote?
The vote is
I did.
Okay.
Oh, did she? Wait. Did you vote to send it back?
Okay. All right, so it goes back.
It goes back. Let's move on.
So vote, mark your ballot with whatever you want. It'll be stripped out in post.
Okay, a resolution supporting the temporary art installation on Park Avenue between East 34th and East 38th Street.
That's hard.
I have a question about it. I meant to look this up and I forgot. Isn't the current art also a French artist? Okay, that, I just wanted to like bring that up, that like we have.
I mean, I feel like saying now with this resolution, that I don't have an issue actually pulling this one. This isn't needed either. I mean, this is the view. This is the view right now.
It's not.
No. No, it's not about that. But you, wait, but you were at the meeting, I'll wrap this up, so you can go home. But you were at the meeting, and remember, this wasn't needed. No, do you need a resolution?
appreciate the support.
Yeah.
All right, are we going to vote on this one? We don't.
I would.
Anne. Please, go ahead, Anne.
I just want to encourage variety of the artists and who we display.
See it? This is why we will have no more support resolutions.
Okay, Kevin.
Just to answer the question more directly, yes, the current artist in French is from the same French-based gallery Black Hole, that is doing both exhibits.
Because they arrange for the artwork, so they can choose the artwork. But let's, if there's no objection, we'll now vote on this resolution, so please mark your digital ballot. Neil, report, no report?
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. Next, transportation, Barack Friedman, our vice chair.
Hey, everybody, I'll try to speak loudly here. So first we have 2A, which is about 25th Street between First Avenue and FDR. It's basically just like if you cross over this footbridge, here over the FDR and you go down the steps. It's felt to be dangerous to cross 25th Street right there, right? There's a crosswalk there and a member of the public came in and talked to us about it. And drivers are coming around the blind turn off the FDR and it's felt to be unsafe. We suggested a few things, and we're basically just asking the DOT to study it. So, please.
Are there any questions? Anne?
Actually have a lot of questions on this one. I spent a lot of time kind of struggling with this, and so I have some friendly amendments, and I'm still not sure I'll support it. But the first is we don't say where from which direction people are exiting the FDR drive. And that's part of what added to my confusion. So I assume you're talking about this southbound exit at 20, well, you actually get off at like 26th Street, the 23rd Street exit, but you can actually, your first turn is at 25th. So that's one thing. And so I think they would, other people reading this would be less confused if there was just like literally just saying the southbound, exiting on the southbound. And the thing that I really struggled with was and I wondered if it was a typo thing to convert 25th Street to westbound street only.
Right.
Because that seems like it seems like if you want to, I don't know how that would help.
Right, yeah, I think it is, I think that's a type of eastbound, right? Because it's
That's a really significant type of.
I agree.
And it would, like, it's a fairly significant change to the grip of, like, because usually like west, odd numbered streets go west. So making that eastbound only, it's gonna cause some confusion. People are gonna be coming across and it's not a big deal because I think it's only eastbound from First Avenue. Is that correct? Can anybody?
Two ways.
It's only two ways.
From First Avenue.
So like, I'm okay with that, but it was seriously confusing. And so.
It does say eastbound there, doesn't it?
You just changed it.
Oh, you just changed it, okay. There you go. It's saying, what are you talking about?
Like, I tell you how much time I spent on like the street view of Google Maps, like trying to figure this out. But the other question I had, and I kind of don't really oppose this as long as you can exit without going down to 23rd Street, which, it is the exit, but there wasn't, when I looked at crash stats for data, like I know there is a perception that this is dangerous, but when I looked at the Crash Mapper website, it showed that since 2017 through March of 2025, it showed 4 accidents at that location. With 1 cyclist injured, and of course, 1 is too many, but 3 motorists injured and no pedestrians injured, and nobody killed of any kind. So is there an actual danger or is there a perception of danger? And if you're putting the energy into this, how about getting a stop sign at the exit on 55th 3rd Street off the FDR Drive, where there is no exit, like, and it's a sharp turn and people just screw.
Yeah, maybe we could table 53rd Street for now.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like, this is really a rabbit hole.
Okay,
I went down.
okay, Jim,
If I can speak to the dangers, you have the UN school, I think there's a British school there in the UN also, and, there's also the park where children play on that
Yes,
area.
yes, there is.
And they come from, they come from Waterside and they go to Waterside. So, yeah, it's definitely.
we did have a member of the community come and speak about this. I think it was 2 months ago, acknowledging the dangers that were perceived there. Eric?
I would just encourage everyone on their way home tonight to try and cross 25th Street there, and I think it will become readily apparent. Yeah. I'm sure your life insurance.
Nobody should do that.
Okay. Okay,
I would just broadly caution people against overanalyzing the proposed solutions, because the purpose of this resolution is to highlight a problem, and if the solutions are ultimately unworkable or impractical, DOT will tell us that.
yeah, all right. If there's no objection, we'll now vote on this resolution. Please mark your digital ballot and, do we have? Two more, sorry.
Yeah, so 2B, it is about the no standing zone on 54th and 55th Street. This is what Pam was talking about earlier. And basically, I would urge you to support this because this is a member of the public who came to us in good faith. She completely followed the process that this committee outlined that she should take, and she did that. She's talking about 800 apartments, or about, just to put in perspective, Waterside Plaza has 1470. So it's about it's on the scale of 2/3 the size of Waterside Plaza. And could you imagine Waterside Plaza not having any loading zones? So for that reason, I think we should vote yes.
Jim, first mentor.
Ordinarily, I would oppose such a measure as you proposed. However, given that this is all most entirely attributable to the actions of the city and the DOT, I'm going to support it. And I would take it as a bit of caution to the Transportation Committee when the city wants to do these bike lanes and bike docking stations and what have you near a residential building, that they do so with a little bit more caution than they do. I don't know when this came up or when, obviously this has been built in the last few years before you were on the committee. But it needs, let's take caution, we want everybody, a lot of these people want bike lanes in every single street and you can't do it in Manhattan.
Tanya, you had a question?
Actually, yeah, Barack, I'm old enough to remember when, every building in New York City had a yellow line in front of their doors. And I think the city overturned that. And it used to be a yellow line in front of every entrance so that you couldn't park there. So I'm greatly in favor of that, but I will tell you that 25 to the city got a dispensation for that as well. And now I'm getting all kinds of grief from the shareholders at 45 because they want one too. So what's going to happen is, I'm all in favor of it, mind you. But we need to find out why the city repealed those rights to have all these yellow lines in front of the building. Because this is something that might start snowballing. I mean, I'm in favor of it, just don't take me wrong. I just want you to understand that there was a time when there were reserved spaces in some buildings. Do you remember it?
No, I'm sorry. I'm a new New York. I wasn't born here.
He's only 22.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been in the city 45 years.
Stu.
Clarity, I don't believe that those were permitted, I believe that buildings just.
That the building just painted them?
Just painted them, there was no signage that said.
Yeah, and then the city said you can't do this anymore.
Right,
Yeah.
you can't reserve.
But there used to be that.
Yeah.
Self-help.
And B has her hand up, please.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Jim said. I'm in support of this and listening to the fact that 50% of the residents are either seniors or disabled. And given the changes to the street and the fact that the buildings followed the process and came back to us, I would support this resolution.
Jim, last comment, and then we're gonna.
I'm just wondering if another solution might be to put bollards in one of the parking spaces that's in front of the building so that there is no parking there. That was a big part of the problem according to the.
If I could just say, Colleen from the DOT was there.
Say again?
Colleen from the DOT was there and she suggested a no standing zone because you could do expeditious drop offs and pickups. And if you just need to unload a suitcase or something like that, you can do that. So I guess a bollard would prevent anybody from going in there, right?
Right,
But
yeah.
it's not just that, you want to go in there,
Well, just to block.
drop off a
parking space.
suitcase and then, come out.
As I understand it, it's a parking.
Call the question.
Yes, yeah, let's vote, please. If there's no objection, we'll now vote on the resolution. Please mark your digital ballot.
Okay, for the last one, to 34th Street Busway, I should say that this, committee voted in favor of the 34th Street Busway in June, of 2024. Since then, the DOT came to CB4, CB5, CB6 and presented, the DOT toolkit for buses, and it ranged from just minor tweaks, for example, making parking metered, to a full busway and everything in between. So Jason and I met with our counterparts at CB4 and CB5, and we had a discussion. And we felt, there's no subway on 34th Street. A busway is the gold standard for public transit. That's how we get around is public transit. So we were all in favor of CB4, CB5, and CB6. So by saying yes to this, you're allowing us to write a joint letter with CB4, CB5, and CB6 saying to the city that we want the gold standard, which is busway on 34th Street.
And
So, this kind of brings, and I'm sorry, I don't want you to feel like I'm beating up on.
No, please.
No. I served on the committee for years and support everything you do. My concern is I hear my mother's voice saying, don't sign something you haven't read. And the transportation committee in a general way is so good at like having footnotes and stuff, and there was no letter.
Can I address that?
Please.
That night, Brendan got sick and he just came back. And so certainly part of that meeting, I didn't double check, but all the committee members were privy to this letter at committee, and it is basically just a regurgitation of what's in this resolution.
Okay.
And I did give it to Sandy and Jesus today.
so
But yeah, so
we
that-
can pull it up, but it is slightly long.
So can I ask this then? Is there urgency to this? Can we hold it over to next month when we have a chance to read the letter?
There is some urgency to this because DOT wants to act expeditiously, and they asked us
Really,
for.
expeditiously,
Yeah.
DOT?
Because 34th Street is really important for
Yeah.
congestion pricing, and that so many express buses are coming through Queens and they come up 34th Street. It's just like,
It's even better because like with congestion pricing, presumably things are already moving faster. And that was actually another question that I didn't ask, but I wonder, does it become a little less necessary because traffic speeds have already increased? And it would be valuable to see how much more speed there would be, if things are already moving faster, if we've got 12% increase.
Well, I'm telling you, send it.
Hey, well, it's on the screen right now, but you have to speed read.
Okay, send it.
Send it to the whole board.
Yeah, I think
So,
absolutely, there's no problem doing that.
So, yeah, there is data that the buses are moving slightly faster, but not as much as you would expect. And, the DOT and MTA presented to us that the speeds go as low as 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
I looked
you
at,
can
I
walk
looked at
much
bus
faster
speed,
than
yes.
that. Or, you know, I think most New Yorkers can walk 5 miles an hour. Yeah, so I New Yorkers can. So, yeah, so I would support it. There is data that's moving slightly faster, but it's nothing like what's happening on 14th Street.
Merkel.
Just want to say, I take the 14th Street busway often because I live right there. And let me tell you, once they made those changes, oh my God, it was such a huge improvement. Like, I think one of the people who spoke earlier today, I forget who, but they said it should be done on every major cross street. I agree. It should be done on every major cross street because the 14th Street bus, I don't mind taking it anymore because earlier, like you said, I could walk faster than the bus. But now I can't. Now the bus takes me there faster. So I support it very strongly. I think it should be done across
So
all cross routes.
if there's no objection, we'd like to vote on this. We can certainly send out the letter.
B.
Oh, B, sorry, go ahead, B.
No, I don't have any objection, and if we vote, I won't say anything more.
Okay. All right, let's go for it. Please mark your digital ballot. And report.
And if I could just say one thing is that you should have gotten an email that basically say which subways need an elevator. So I don't know if you want to send that out again, but send it to all your friends. Everybody should fill it out and which subway you think need disability.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. All right, Anton Molnar, Chair of Business Affairs and Licensing.
Okay, I'm not gonna get up because I can talk real loud.
Okay.
I would suggest that we get a motion to bundle A through O. I'd like to speak about P separately, given the response we had from the community. A through O are all roadway cafe applications. They have all been vetted by the DOT. In fact, some of them have been made smaller by the DOT and has been agreed to by the particular restaurant involved. And in the end, none of the committees had any, no members of the committee had any issues in recommending approval of the roadway seating for items A through O. So I'd like to.
A really fast question, Tom. At the last meeting, you said that you were going to reassess how you viewed these applications, make sure that all the i's were dotted and the t's were checked. Or did you check on landlords and that all the paperwork is good, everything is good?
We actually can't do that. We're assuming, like we do with SLA licenses, that the DOT has done its homework, and in fact, we won't receive these unless the proper authorizations and the proper paperwork has been submitted. I don't think it is our duty or that we should be checking the DOT.
And I might just add to that, that if they do not have the management's approval, it won't go forward anyway. So that's something that really is sort of, whether we agree or not, it will not move forward.
I only bring it up because we had 2 people from the community complain about, you know, noise and all that.
This is at the steakhouse, 45 Tudor City Place.
I'm sorry?
The steakhouse, it's the 45 Tudor City Place, yes. Which application was withdrawn by the owner.
No, I'm just talking about the people that spoke.
Oh,
today.
no, we're talking, that was Charisma Lounge, that's P, and I would like to address that separately.
Okay.
All right, if there's no more discussion, if there's no objection, we'll now vote on those resolutions. Please mark your digital ballot.
As far as
Sorry, Kevin, Oh, okay.
Charisma Lounge is concerned, these same people also made comments at the committee meeting. Now, I'd like to point out that we have never had any complaints about noise, garbage, or what else? Smoke from any member of the community, at least on the 311 website. 1, 2, I went over there this afternoon because I just had a curiosity about the complaint they had. They're not able to get into the parking garage because it's too narrow. I did notice on the north side of the street where the building is located is a no standing zone, the whole block from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I noticed that there were parked cars back at the front on the whole block. So this to me is a situation that should be complained to the precinct, that these cars aren't be ticketed. Not only were they parked nose to tail the whole block, but they were encroaching on the curb cut for the garage. This has got nothing to do with Charisma. 2, the footprint Charisma will have for their DOT approved site is within the footprint of 1 car on the south side of the street, which is a commercial, 2-hour commercial parking metered side of the street. And if they have a problem with that, then that should go to the DOT, because then they won't be able to make quote unquote the swing into the parking lot. As far as garbage is concerned, the Charisma has rodent-proof garbage cans on their front of their property. I looked at this, and the fact is the garbage is not coming from Charisma, it's coming from their next door neighbor. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, there was mention that they make noise. Charisma closes at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. depending on how you look at the time. And quite frankly, you live in New York City, a restaurant closing at 12 a.m. is pretty early. Most of the restaurants that we look at for SLA, they go to 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I have an issue with the residents of the building across the street. We live in New York City, restaurant closes at 12 o'clock. I don't think that should be an issue. In any case, some of these same arguments was made by them at the committee meeting. However, members of the committee reviewed that and felt that despite what these people from the co-op across the street said, we feel that the application made by Charisma fit within the DOT's mandate, and certainly we didn't have any issue with that.
RuPaul?
I just looked it up on Google. According to Google, they close at 4 a.m. every day. Just FYI, not at midnight. That's on Google.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe, because I believe on their application, it said 4 at 12.
Yeah, and the other thing is that regardless of the restaurant closing time, roadway cafes are not allowed to serve afternoon.
Kyle?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so I'm gonna vote against this particular application, and I urge the rest of the board to do so as well. I do have concerns about this particular issue. I think we heard from 2 speakers tonight about how often lounges are a big issue because it is a way to circumvent cabaret laws. It's a way to circumvent a lot of other sort of stipulations that a lounge or a bar would normally use. I live a couple of blocks away from here as well. The establishment that's next door to them is a bodega. So the amount of trash that's being produced is not coming from a convenience store or bodega, it's coming from them. The issue with that particular block is, in addition to these issues with the establishment, there's a lot of issues in terms of how we have to think systematically about how these outdoor dining sheds are actually placed in a community. They are on this obviously very busy block, as they mentioned, but having a shed on an avenue is a lot different than having a shed on a street, which by nature is already very, very narrow. There is a lot of bottleneck, there's a lot of traffic there, there is a parking garage there. It is what it is, but it does make it very difficult for a lot of cars to navigate. It makes it very difficult for people to walk by. And because of the reputation that they've had of being a very late establishment, they may say 12 a.m., but the issue is that people stay there past 12 a.m. We've seen this, there's no enforcement on a lot of these dining sheds. We've had to reject a lot of these applications in the past because people abuse it. The issue with this particular establishment is that, especially because it is a lounge, the nature of it is a hookah lounge, it is not primarily a restaurant, that I would vote against this just because I think it would be very easily abused as
So, Sandro.
I just wanna confirm that I went to their website and it does say 40.
Yes, but they can't.
They
Sure,
can't serve outside.
But they can stay inside. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I also actually attended the meeting, and I think the concerns that were voiced here are a little bit disingenuous by the people who presented them, because their concern was the parking garage and the fact that they couldn't turn into the parking garage because the previous shed was deeper and they had trouble turning. So I believe that was their main concern. And with the garbage, as they noted, it's not their convenience store, it's a residential building which uses plastic bags. They haven't yet, put their garbage into Bradford containers. So I think just it's a little disingenuous, some of the concerns that were raised. It was 90% parking.
Yeah, well, I'm just push back on that. I know we're very pro getting rid of, sort of cars in the street.
No, it's turning into their garage.
I know, but the garage exists, right?
Oh,
It is what it
absolutely.
is. So like, the cars are gonna go in or out, anyway, so it is a concern that we have.
But unfortunately, the people do not understand that the new shed would be smaller. I believe, how many seats are there on the new shed? Oh, okay, it's called a shed.
I think it's 4 seats.
4 seats.
That's what he said.
Yeah. And the depth is set by a car width, so.
And it's less than the shed they had there
Yeah.
before.
How many were in the old shed?
Pardon me?
How many fit in the old shed?
I don't know.
But
I don't know, it's smaller.
the previous shed encroached in the bike lane.
But the previous.
And this one will not.
You see the previous shed did go past the white line for parking on the south side of the street. The new shed will only go from the curb to 7 feet, which is 2 feet, approximately 2 feet less than the white line for parking.
But let Gloria.
Maybe you said this when we started the whole cafe conversation, but I think this is really something to think about a little bit more deeply. I was very concerned how many applications around how many resolutions there are. Roadside cafes, you have servers going across sidewalks, they're always looking at safety on sidewalks. You've got activity, you've got noise in neighborhoods, and I'm just concerned maybe the city, I don't know who's deciding who gets what, and maybe it's just a money thing, like make money. That seems to be the world we're living in, but I think it's very concerning to me how many resolutions are here tonight. I'm expecting they'll be here next month with this many, and these are all just in our district, right? So there's many districts. So I think there's got to be another way of looking at it, just being careful about where these things are going. And with a little more, I mean, no offense to anybody on the committee. I'm just concerned because that really frightened me when I looked at that tonight. And
Okay,
so, and I think, can I just say also, and what happened with Neil here tonight as well, I think it'd be a really good educational thing to do for people to understand how committees work and that each committee is individual and has different things to consider. Because I don't think everyone knows that, and they're just looking at what they're doing and not considering what other people are doing. So anyway, I just want to put that on record that I think there is concern how many are just going off everywhere. And I know the city decides that, but.
And Eric.
Just a quick comment, you mentioned city trying to make money. Just strictly from my perspective, the city is really undervaluing this real estate and space, and they're basically giving it away for no return to the community. They pay very little rent, so.
Well, that's
I mean,
even
at least
worse.
for me, from my
Sorry,
perspective.
let's, one conversation, please,
I
please.
vote against all of the sheds until the city rethinks the pricing scheme and how they are leasing and selling back valuable public space to for-profit entities.
Rock, and then Tanya, and then we're gonna vote.
So, I'm gonna vote yes, because I like eating at these, sidewalk places. I think it makes the city better. And somebody just parking their car so they can go to the Hamptons once a month does not make this any better. So, I think this is a good thing. The people that enjoy going there, and even, they're not coming to community boards to complain about. They're just enjoying their meal and they're regular people in our district. And there's obviously demand, which is why the stores want it. So people in our district want it. And I like it.
And we have Tanya and then B, and then we're going to vote, sorry.
Well, from the moment that they were brought out into the city back in 2020, my biggest concern was the fact that first, those spaces are not covered by the leases that the buildings have with the restaurants. You understand that? Those spaces are not covered by the lease. They have, if something happens 18 feet from the curb, the building is responsible, but the insurance is not covering them. You understand? So it's the building's responsibility if 18 feet from the curb, something happens in those inches, sorry, 18 inches. It's the building's responsibility. But the building has no control over what happens. The landlord has no control over what happens on that shed. It's not covered by the lease. These are things that are important to keep in mind as well.
B,
Yeah, so I think we're going off topic of debating what the sheds should be. We should just deal with this resolution, and there's two answers. You're either in support of it or not. So I think, Sandy, we should take the vote.
absolutely. So please mark your digital ballot. And then we have Q, R, and S, Q and R.
Right, I'd like to bundle those. Two of those are both liquor. One is a wine, beer and cider, and the other one is a liquor license. Presentation is made to our committee, and committee said, voted unanimously to recommend and say liquor authority that the licenses be granted.
Okay, if there's no objection, we'll now vote on the resolution. Please mark your ballots. And do you have a report, Anton?
I'm gonna waive that this month.
Okay, now we have Budget and Governmental Affairs. Is not online. Oh, Stephen is, great, okay.
So this resolution is coming to you from Budget and Governmental Affairs, only because we were the last committee to meet before this meeting. So ordinarily would be going to land use. So, and it needs to go to Borough Board this month, is why it's up for a vote. It's basically a pro forma disposition of the land for Spark from the city-owned parcel on the east side of 25th Street that needs to go to Cook. And it's essentially just the process the legal process by which that disposition needs to happen.
Okay, no questions? All right. So if there's no objection, we'll now vote. I'm sorry. We'll now vote on the resolution. Please mark your digital ballot and you may now submit your ballot. This is the last resolution. And report.
We just want to urge everyone and remind everyone to look at your budget requests, please, before the summer recess. So if they need to be updated, if you need to contact someone at a city agency, if you need to revise them or add new things, do them before the summer recess so that you're not scrambling to do it in the one meeting we have before we have to submit our budget request in October. So that's just a PSA for all the committees. Yeah.
Okay. Public safety and sanitation, Stu Desser.
So we had two substantial topics this month, and we'll carry those topics both next month. The big one was, I think you heard, discovery reform, which sounds esoteric and not that interesting, and it's actually very important if you care about justice. And it's actually quite interesting as well. the Manhattan DA, approached us and asked us and other community boards to consider this. We in turn brought the Legal Aid Society to present the opposing viewpoint. Discovery is basically where both sides of litigation or criminal procedure have to show the evidence that they have to the other side. If the law is not structured well, then you can end up with some serious injustice. You can end up with people who are wrongfully convicted, people who end up agreeing to a lesser charge even if they're innocent. And so it's serious. Both sides, the Manhattan DA and the Legal Aid Society, agree that what happened before the current version of the federal reform was not good, unfair, produced bad results. That was in 2020. The district attorneys are now saying, we appreciate the changes, there were changes needed, but the pendulum swung too far. And so they're proposing a rollback that they consider tweaking, which the defense bar considers a complete rollback. It's a complicated issue, and we are working our way through it, make sure we understand where the ambiguity can't be overcome. There is some legislation in Albany that actually proposes one solution that both sides like, but the DA wants to go further. So it's an important issue that we are spending some energy on. The other issue that we're looking at, and we'll also come back next month, is the mayor's order to allow some city employees to let ICE agents into public facilities. And in conjunction with that is the proposed, I don't think he's actually made it yet, but the proposed order to allow ICE onto record violence. So we're looking at those issues. We'll probably have a vote next time, I think.
Okay. Health and environment, Alvi Barosa.
So we are discussing two wrestles tomorrow. One is on siren noise and another one on lead pipes. So if you are interested in those topics, please come to tomorrow's meeting.
Some siren noise, you said?
Yes, siren noise and lead pipe.
I think I'm gonna join you.
I've also given them another topic potentially to discuss. This evening, there's Community Board 8 is discussing the Northwell Lenox Hill Hospital expansion. There's been a lot of discussion about, instead of making that hospital bigger, to actually move some of those services down to where MSBI was. We're not sure yet. We don't know for sure it's closing, but every indication is that it will. So that was a meeting tonight, and we couldn't really give testimony because we don't have a resolution on it, but it's something that I think it's worth discussing. So, okay.
The site unit at Bellevue Hospital in lieu of the closing of the MSBI.
They're getting more beds as part of that closing. And Kevin.
If I may, as the Bellevue Advisory Board representative for CV6, give you some news that we just got this evening. We've known that we've been having it for a while, but there's a legislative breakfast that happens every year. It's Friday from 9 to 11 in the Rose Room at Bellevue. Some of you in other capacities, I know have gotten invitations to this. This is an invitation from the Community Advisory Board to the entire Community Board membership. And also I push to make sure that anybody listening to be inclusive should be able to go as well, as long as there's seating. So if anybody's interested, you can let me know. I guess you can send it to the CV6 office and they can kick it to me. Some news, a longtime member of the community board, Louise Denver, people like Sandra, who certainly know it a lot better than I do. But her name will be on the first annual Bellevue Community Service Award. That will be presented on Friday. And that will go to William Hicks, who is the outgoing CEO of them. You're all welcome. I hope you can stay, and there is professionals.
All right, housing and homelessness, Rich.
Wait.
Okay, we're waiting back. Land use and waterfront, Gabe Truso, Vice Chair.
I'm just feeling our resolution. We're months of culmination, we're finally going to vote on a resolution on the water club at the upcoming meeting on the 24th. And we put a lot of thought into it, and I think we're gonna ask for something really beautiful and comprehensive. We're gonna talk about a joint reso with transportation regarding traffic mitigation for Sparking and Division East. Our research fellow, Schwan is gonna do her preliminary presentation on the loading zone study that she's put a lot of work into. And lastly, a continued discussion of district needs, so with the goal of familiarizing ourselves and the budget request statement, so we are in a good place to update them in the fall. Yes.
Can you just give us a little preview on the water club?
Well, so there's a series of things.
Come to the meeting, come to the meeting.
That was the.
Public space, public space.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a tough crowd, tough crowd. Okay.
Thank you all. Any further questions?
Okay, youth and education, Kevin O'Keefe.
I will waive the report, but I will add that there is a keynote speaker on Friday. Yes, I'm trying to entice you there. And that is the chair of the city council's hospital committee. She's also a member of the health committee. She's also a registered nurse. Please come.
Okay. Okay, board members, if you have any old or new business to state, please raise your hand. Okay, our assistant secretary will now conduct the second roll call.
And if you've not submitted your ballot, please do so now. If you can't use the digital ballot, CB6 staff will ask you for your vote. I will speed up and slow as I recognize people who are absent. Jed.
Absent.
Tanya.
Present.
Kyle. Present.
You're going a bit fast.
Sorry, there. I know what you're saying.
All right,
Neil.
thank you.
Marty's absent. LB.
Thank you.
Jim.
Yep.
Thank you.
Stu.
Thank you.
B.
Here.
Maya.
Thank you.
Robert. Brock. Jason is absent. Eric.
Thank you.
Justin is absent.
Thank
Gloria.
Thank you.
Robbie is with her baby.
Thank you.
Paige.
Here, present.
Thank you. Paige, we need your ballot.
I'm sending it in now.
Thank you.
Rupel.
Thank you.
John.
Thank you.
Nadeem.
Present.
Katie.
No, Nad Kelani. Okay, Nad is not here.
False positive. Katie.
Present.
Thank you.
Sandra. David Levy.
Not here.
Thank you.
Lewinsky.
Present.
Thank you.
Anton.
Present.
Sandra.
That's right.
Sandra.
Oh, Sandra, oh, okay, present.
And you should.
I'm present.
Alec.
Absent. Thank you.
Kevin O'Keefe. Martin is absent.
Thank you. Okay.
Stephen Perez. Miriam.
Thank you.
Michael Monroe is absent.
Thank you.
Lawrence. Larry.
Thank you.
And
Still here.
Thank you.
Sandra now, Sandra, please.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Olivia is virtual with us. She's
Present.
Rubin Siddiqui.
Present.
Thank you.
Letty Simon.
Letty,
He's down there.
we also need your ballot, Letty.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, you need my votes?
Yes.
Okay, on, you want me to vote on, on one?
Yep, just go ahead.
Okay, that would be yes on everything on one. On two, A, B, and C, yes.
Okay.
On three, right down the line, abstain. I haven't had a chance to look into any of them, so I'm gonna abstain. That's from A to what, Q or something? And for number four, yes.
Okay. I'll note that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Steinberg,
Thank you.
Mark Thompson,
Over here. Oh. Present.
Thank you.
Gabe.
Thank you.
Vera,
Thank you.
myself,
Thank you.
and Sarah Whittington.
Absent. All
Actually,
right.
hold on a moment. I'm still finishing up Letty's ballot. I'll let you know once I'm done.
Brendan's doing that. I want to give him a shout out for being nearly better, but still working from home. There's a lot that goes on at these meetings behind the scenes that you guys don't see, things that we need to troubleshoot without making it look like there's stuff that we need to troubleshoot. Thank you, Brendan. I would be long dead without Brendan. All right, it looks, he's still working on it, so we'll give him a few more moments. And then we will announce the votes. Decision March 12th, 2025. Attention in the first three rows, you will get wet.
Now Letty's ballot is submitted.
All
Sorry
right.
about that. It took a little
Thank
bit with all the resolutions this month.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Parks Reso 1A was sent back to the committee. Parks Reso 1B passed with 33 in favor, 1 opposed, no abstentions, no not entitled. Transportation Reso 2A, that's the FDR for 25th Street one, passed unanimously with 34 votes. Transportation 2B, that's the no standing zone, passed with 33 in favor, 1 opposed, no abstentions, no not entitled. 2C, which is the 34th Street Busway one, passed unanimously with 34 votes. So, all right, now all the bulk ones. I'm not going to give the long titles. Bulk 3A passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3B passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3C passed, 30 in favor, 3 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3D passed, 30 in favor, 3 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3E passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3F passed, 30 in favor, 30 opposed. 3 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3G passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3H passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3I passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3J passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3K passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3L passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3M passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3N passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3O passed, 31 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3P, which was that charisma one, it passed 23 in favor, 9 opposed, 2 abstentions. Bulk 3Q passed 33 in favor, no opposed, 1 abstention. Bulk 3R passed 33 in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention. And the budget reso, the land disposition to CUNY, passed unanimously with 34 votes. Back to Sandy.
Okay, thank you all for, unusually long meeting. But if there are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting. Seeing no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 9:22 p.m. Thank you.